Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our episode on what is economy. So this is just a continuation. So today we're going to look at the market economy, in other words, capitalism. It is named the market economy because it is all about free marketing. So I've done the video on the mixed economy, on what I called a balanced approach. So first of all, I said there are four types of economy. The first one is a traditional economy. The second is a command economy or socialism. The government plan everything really. The third one is a market economy or the capitalism. Then the mixed economy is the one which I just did the video recently on the mixed economy. So it is the combination of capitalism and socialism all together. So first of all, I'm going to give the key features of market economy, aka capitalism. The second point, we're going to touch on the practical examples of market economies. The third point, it will be on the advantages of a market economy or advantages of capitalism. Then the fourth point, I'm going to give disadvantage of market economy. Then after that, I'm going to give a quick summary at the end or conclusion, just as I usually do in all the episodes, to sum up what we learned in each video. So are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Tighten your belt and let's begin. So let's begin, ladies and gentlemen, on the market economy or capitalism. So a market economy, also known as a capitalism, is an economic system where decisions regarding investment, production and distribution are driven by supply and demand. I've done the video on the supply and demand as well. So in this case, we have two attributes which are given: production and distribution, but the consumption is also left out. So it is all about the seller and the consumer, the seller and the buyers really. So with minimal government intervention, in this case, in the case of capitalism, there's only a minimum government intervention. Government does not control most of the things. So as we saw in the privatization and the public, in the case of public sector, it's all about the government control, government owned. In the private sector, there's individuals and businesses. So in the case of capitalism, it's all about privatization. Individuals and businesses have big say in have the last say in the country or the nation. So in this system, individuals and businesses operate for profit, and market forces such as the competition determine price and production levels. In the case of competition or capitalism, it's all about competition, supply and demands. All of those are the things which determine the prices and production levels. In the case of consumers, what if the consumer asks, you demand. So private ownership and freedom to engage in a voluntary trade are key characteristics of a market economy. So whenever I say market economy, I'm actually referring to capitalism. So ladies and gentlemen, so in the case of free to engage in voluntary trade, it's all about free marketing really, which is a key characteristics of capitalism, free market. So first of all, we're going to get into our first point. So we say the key features of capitalism or market economy. That's the name which I'm going to use here instead of capitalism all the time. So we have first key is the private ownership. In the case of individualization or privatization. So individuals and companies own the resources, businesses and properties. All of them are owned on the individuals and businesses. All the resources, businesses and properties are owned by individuals and companies, certain companies. So the government typically plays a limited role or just a small role in the country or the nation. And the means of production are privately controlled. Even the production in the nation are privately controlled by individuals and companies. The second feature is like the supply and demand. So market forces, which is supply and demand, which is a big issue or a big thing really when it comes to the nation. How the consumers ask, or what if the citizens ask, someone have to be there to supply them all the demands, to fulfill the demands of the consumer or the citizens or people. So market forces such as supply and demand detect production levels, prices and the allocation of resources. So producers respond to consumer demand and prices fluctuates up and down based on the availability and the competition. So in the case of capitalism, the price changes go up and down based on the availability, what if supply is available or resources, and on the competition, how many people are competing in that sector. So the profit motive as well, which is a third key feature in the case of capitalism. So businesses and individuals are motivated by the pursuit of profit. So in the case of capitalism, it's profit above all. So you keep asking, what is it for me, or what I'm going to get, what I'm going to benefit in this. So before you do something, you ask for your profit, for your share. In other words, and self-interest is put above all in the case of capitalism or the market or market economy. So they are motivated by the pursuit of profit. So more effectively or efficiently a company produces goods or services, the greatest potential for profit. In this case, it is all about to the greatest or to the strongest, to the smartest, to the fittest. In the case of natural selection, to the fittest. If you are fit, then you're going to survive. If you are strong, then you're going to get off the weakest. If you are smart, then you're going to get up before the ones who are stupid or ignorant. That is the correct word, ignorant. So competition is the fourth key features as well. Like competition between businesses is central to market economy or capitalism. Companies compete to attract customers or consumers, which encourages, in this case, innovation and better products and lower prices. Because of high competition on capitalism, try to satisfy the customers or the consumers. In this case, sometimes it encourages, like it increases the innovation, more production as well, a better product as well, in the case of quality over quantity, and the lower prices. So some people might say buy two, get one for free. In that case, because there's a competition, the consumer has more options, lower prices. The fifth key features is like a limited government intervention. In this case, the people and the individuals and companies have more freedom to do whatever they want. So in this case, the government have only left a limited role to play in the nation. So the government has a minimal role in the economy, primarily to enforce laws. In this case, laws, it can be like the fiscal policies, which is all fiscal policy, and the monetary policies as well. In the case of fiscal policy, it's all about revenue and expenditures or expenses, which is government spending. In the case of monetary, can be taxation, money printing as well. In the case of central banks, they're the ones who print money and use mechanisms like the interest rate to lower the prices or increases the prices to discourage the consumers or people from borrowing money in the bank. And when the interest rate has been lowered down from 15 to 5%, then you're encouraging more people to come to borrow money to the bank. So the government also, it is their homework to protect the property rights as well. In the case of property, can be goods and services or assets, and maintain fair competition, because the competition can skyrocket, get out of hand. So the government have to be there to try to maintain everything, to keep the equilibrium, the balance really. However, it may step in during crisis or to regulate monopolies. So in the case of capitalism, people have to always watch about the monopolies. In this case, people, I mean the government, they have always to keep an eye on the monopolies, which mean dictatorship in the case of marketing. So some people being above others. In the case of Google, Facebook, the CEO are becoming billionaires. So there's like monopolies being above everyone else. Some people are billionaires, trillionaires, or millionaires, and other people are poor, like unemployed, or homeless as well. So that is the concept of monopolies in the case of marketing or economy. The second point, we're going to look at the practical examples of market economies, because I like to keep everything on the practicality, the real world examples. So the first one, we're going to look, the first case, it is like the United States. So I did the same examples as well, like in the case of mixed economy. So we saw some countries which use mixed economy, and I've just did another video recently about the economic growth and economic development as well. So you can check all of those videos on my YouTube channel. This video is going to the same playlist as well on the economics. So the first example, practical example, is based on the US, United States. So the US is one of the best examples of a market economy or capitalism. Most industries operate in a competitive private sector where business respond to consumer preferences and demands. In the case of consumer preferences, it's like the options. Whatever the consumer wants, whatever the consumer demands, you have to respond to them. You have to give them whatever they want. So you have to be there just to provide. That's all about supply, production. And the case of, so we have like production and distribution. So the government regulates certain sectors as well. In this case, the government have some saying. The sectors like the healthcare, which means hospital, and finance, like money as well, monetary. But overall, the economy is driven by free market principles. That's all about capitalism. Free market principles, all about do whatever you want, laissez-faire, do whatever you want, do what thou wills. The second country which uses as well the free marketing economies or capitalism is UK, United Kingdom. So the UK operates as a predominantly market economy as well. So with most industries controlled by private businesses or companies. So the government does regulate and provide like services in certain sectors as well. In the case of UK, government still have some saying as well, like the US, United States. So in the UK, the government have some control of the National Health Service, which is the NHS in the UK. But overall, market forces guide economic activities or activity in the case of UK as well. So the free market is still the motto, even in the UK. The third example is in the South Korea, because the video I just did recently on the economic growth and economic development. In the case of South Korea, it is based on the economic growth and economic development as well, since the Korean War. So in this case of South Korea, we can see there's a little touch as well, like on the Singapore. Like Singapore has become single rich. It's not poor, like Singapore has flourished as well recently. But we usually forget it most of the time. Singapore is doing better as well. So South Korea's economy has flourished under market-based system as well, market-based or the capitalism system as well. Particularly, like they're investing heavily in technology, electronics, and the automobile manufacturing or car manufacturing as well, cars manufacturing. Major companies like the Samsung and the Hyundai dominate the market, but operate within a highly competitive environment as well. Even though Samsung is not based in the South Korea, even though they just went there, but they're still competing really with some local companies in the case of electronics, automobiles as well, and technology like mobile phones manufacturing. So the fourth country is like Germany as well, in the case of market economies. So Germany has a highly developed market economy with private ownership of businesses and a strong industrial base as well. In the case of Germany, automobile as well, cars, is something you cannot take away from them, like the BMW and all things like that. So it is like Japan, they've focused on the quality and not the quantity. So it is one of the largest exporters in the world. In the case of Germany, it is the largest exporters of the world. So it's all about imports and export. So exports are the goods or services which are taken abroad outside of the country. Imports are the goods which are brought inside the country. So in the case of Germany, that the largest exports in the world, and its economy is largely driven by consumer demand and the business innovation as well. So in the case of Germany, innovation is one of their motto as well. It's something which you cannot take away from them when it comes to Europe as well. The third point, we're going to touch on the advantages of market economy or the advantage of capitalism within the nation. So the first one is like the efficiency allocation of resources. So in the case of efficiency, it's all about being flexible, really doing things with minimal effort. There's efficiency allocation of resources. So market economies tend to allocate resources more efficiently than command economies. So I say we have four types: tradition, command, marketing, and mixed economies. In this case, command economies is simply referring back to socialism. So they're saying capitalism tend to allocate resources more efficiently than socialism or command economies. So as businesses strive to meet consumer demand and maximize profits, that is a case of capitalism. The second advantage is like innovation and growth as well, because of competition. Everyone's running to do better, to improve on the quality instead of just on quantity, doing more research and development, things like that. So innovation and the growth in the second advantage of capitalism. So it is competition. In the case of competition, it's all about, you can use tricks as well to get ahead. So competition drives on innovation as businesses seek to differentiate themselves and attract more customers or consumers. So this often leads like to economic growth and development of new products and services, because the higher competition, you're going to have no innovation, new ideas, motivation, inspiration, things like that, and try to develop new products and services which you can provide efficiently, really. So the third one is like the consumer choice as well. The consumer is the buyer, or just the buyer, really, or the one who buys, the consumers, the citizens, really. So in a market economy, on the capitalism, consumers have a wide product, as a wide variety of products. Of variety simply means different flavors of products and services to choose from. So the consumer, when it comes to capitalism, the consumer is given more options, more flavors, more variety of products and services to choose from, as businesses compete to meet their demands. So as the consumer, when it comes to capitalism, you are the boss. Everyone come to meet your demand. Whatever you want will be provided, will be supplied, will be the production and things like that will be produced at your requirements, really. So the fourth advantage is like the incentive for hard work and investment as well. So people have the drive of hard work and they try to invest as well, not to be left behind. So the profit motive encourages individuals and businesses to work harder, invest wisely, and take risks. In this case of capitalism, because when it comes to investments, it's like a lotto, really. So it's all about taking risks when it comes to stocks on the stock markets as well, like buying shares, becoming a shareholder, buying bonds, assets and things. But all of those are assets, mutual funds, the ETFs, exchange traded funds. So I've done the video on all the investments as well. You can check the playlist on the investment financial on my YouTube channel. So and take risk as well, as success results in the financial rewards. So in this case, most of people are more encouraged to invest wisely. Some people, young people, usually invest in stocks, which is not wise investment. Bonds are more like lower return and lower risk as well in the case of bonds. In the case of stocks or cryptocurrencies, it is higher risk and higher return. So the risk is equal to the reward, or reward is equal to the risk. The higher the risk, the higher the return, maybe, if you are lucky. So the fourth point is based on the disadvantage now of capitalism or market economy. So we have done the advantage, the bright side. Now we're coming to the dark side of capitalism. So the first one is income inequality. In the case of income inequality, it's all about the rich versus the poor. So you have more people who have become millionaires, trillionaires, and billionaires, and some people are poor, unemployed, homeless, and things like that. That's all about inequality, income inequality. So market economies can lead to significant wealth disparities or wealth differences. In this case, you have different classes. You have first class, middle class, third class, things like that. As those who own resources or businesses accumulate more wealth than others. So if you are the CEO, you are the manager, you get more income than those who are lower or those who are unemployed. While lower income groups may struggle. This is why we have class differences. You have first class, middle class, third class. The people who make first class is like the top 1%, the middle class is like the 50%, the rest, or let's say middle class is like 20%, then the rest is 70 or 60%. Those are like the third class, the lower class. The second disadvantage is based on the market failures as well. In the case of market failures, it's all about recession, inflation, depression sometimes, hyperinflation as well, things like that, or stagflation. All of those are like the market failures signs when it comes to capitalism. So in cases where there's an insufficient competition or negative externalities, in this case can be natural disasters or pollution, so the market may fail to allocate resources efficiently. Government intervention is often required in these cases. So there's like the market failure. So need the issue when the competition is not there, when there's a negative externality like disasters, natural disasters, or any type of pollution, then all of those are actually based on the environmental degradation as well, pollution, green, like the global warming, things like that. So the third disadvantage of capitalism or market economies, it is based on the economic instability as well. So it's not stable. It is unstable, ups and down and things like that. It is unpredictable. That's all about instability. So market economies are prone to economic cycles, up and down, like the sine wave, such as a booms and busts. In the case of booms, you have like high wages, high salaries, high wages, high unemployments. There's like the economic boom. People buying new cars, new things like that. Everything's good, up and down, up and down. Then you have the bust as well, maybe recession, inflation. So period of rapid economic growth may be followed by recession or depressions. So after the up, you have the down as well. The economic when it drops down, so as above, so it's below. The above have to be balanced to be below. Every rise have got its fall as well. Even when it comes to nations, there's sometimes it rise civilization, sometimes again we go back to say normal again, becoming like animals. So the first disadvantage of capitalism or market economy, it is the public goods, between the public goods and the services. So in the case of goods, are like tangible things, physical things which you can touch. Services are intangible things which can be done online or through the phone. So the profit-driven nature of market economy may result in underinvestment in public goods. Public goods, in this case, public goods as like education, healthcare, infrastructure, the things which are under the government control. So because of it, there's too much competition in the unnecessary things, they will simply neglect or put neglection really in the case of public goods like education, healthcare, infrastructure, since these sectors may not generate immediate profits. Since you cannot get immediate profits like in education, healthcare, or infrastructure, which simply means like a building hospital, roads, and schools, most of the people, most of individuals or companies or businesses usually neglect them. So that is like a big disadvantage. So in this case, in the case of capitalism, it's all about profit overall, wealth before health, even though that might put even disease over the well-being of the citizens. If it is about supporting the pharmaceuticals, selling drugs and things like that, just to ruin the health of the population or the citizens, the individuals and businesses or big companies will be ready to do it, since they are all only running or seeking for profit over everything, over the public goods. They don't care about your health, they don't care about education, they don't care about infrastructure most of the time. So what can you say, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion about all the advantage, disadvantage of capitalism, socialism, the key factors as well? We have seen like in America, which is US, United States. You have seen some examples in the UK, United Kingdom, Germany, Singapore as well, and then South Korea. We have North Korea and South Korea. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, about the market economy or capitalism, whether it is good or bad, or just you like it because of you're fanatic of capitalism without knowing its good inside or bad sides. So in summary, market economy or capitalism thrives on competition. It's all about competition. Will be the first, will be the highest, will be the richest. It doesn't matter if people are dying with hunger, poverty, things like that, exploitation, they don't care. It is all about competition, private ownership, and consumer choice, offering a dynamic environment for innovation and economic growth, which is good. In the case of innovation, you have like a development in the tech industry, industrialization as well, and economic growth, which is good because they're both the economic growth is simply based on the GDP, the gross domestic product, or GNP, growth national product. Sometimes it will improve also the per capita, which is just the average income, per capita income, which is good in the case of capitalism. It boosts all of those things, but the GDP of the country does not determine the overall well-being of each citizen, like the HDI, the Human Development Index. It leaves the Human Development Index. So that's the video which I just did recently, because between the difference between the economic growth and economic development. So we usually mistake the economic growth to be a positive thing, forgetting that economic development is the more sufficient, or is the more which you have to focus on than the economic growth. It is not all about the GDP. We have to look at the Human Development Index as well. So it allows for efficiency and responsiveness to consumer demand, but can lead like to income inequality between the rich and the poor, and occasionally market failures like in recession, inflation, depression, and things like that. The balance between government regulation, and free market operations determines how well a market economy functions. So if the government don't step in at the correct time, then we have failures in the things like that. Or if the government leave too much freedom, things like that, free market, then have some people coming like you're going to build monopoly, some people coming above than others. So the concept of living to the strongest, like Alexander the Great said. So with the United States, US, UK as well, like South Korea and the United Kingdom, as a prime examples of capitalist economics. Like there are the three countries, like US, United States, UK, United Kingdom, South Korea, are like the prime examples of capitalist economies that blend market forces with regulation for stability, which is not too bad because you become used to it, but there's still some disadvantages as well. So it is not all good, because if there were not some disadvantage in the case of USA, we'll not see like the market crash, like in the Wall Street, the 2008 market crash, like the recession, the inflations, or the hyperinflation, stagflation. All of those are like the drawbacks really of capitalism, or in this case, market economy. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, keep sharing as well, and liking. So I want to we have hit already 1K, so keep sharing, keep subscribing as well, and keep commenting, keep your comment coming. Thanks for watching. Ciao, bye, have a great day.